It is just a huge honor for me today to be podcast interviewing Kevin Kwiecien, DDS, MS, right here in Ahwatukee. You live, where do you live in town?
Scottsdale.
Scottsdale.
Yeah.
He lives in the rich and famous section. I'm down here in the poor, born in the barn, Phoenix, Arizona. Whenever I tell someone I live in Phoenix, they go, "Oh, you mean Scottsdale?" I'm like, no. They go, "You mean Paradise Valley?" No. Where do you actually live? Actually, I live in Phoenix. But Dr. Kwiecien graduated from Oregon Health Science University School of Dentistry. Now, is that the Ducks or the...
Neither, unaffiliated.
So it's unaffiliated?
Health Science
what is the rivalry there? The Ducks versus the...
The Ducks and the Beavers.
The Ducks and the Beavers. That is an intense rivalry.
Yeah, my son is a Duck, so...
Your son's a Duck?
Yeah.
And he graduated in 1995 and holds a master's degree in healthcare administration. He has more than 20 years of private practice experience, with most of those years overlapping in academia. He was with Spear Education from 2014 to 2017. He served as assistant professor of restorative dentistry at Oregon Health Science University School of Dentistry, where his roles included director of the university's faculty dental practice, as well as course director of preclinical fixed prosthodontics and co-course director of advanced restorative concepts. Dr. Kwiecien's dedication to high-level continuing education began with Dr. Frank Spear in 2001. Shortly thereafter, he completed the curriculum at the LD Pankey Institute. He has a decade of national and international lecturing and workshops. He is the owner of K-Squared Facilitation.com. So it's K-Squared Facilitation.com. And facilitating long-term health for the practice, team, and patient. Thanks so much for coming on the show,
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
I've been wanting you on the show for a long time.
Thanks.
You have an amazing resume, and you've done it all. We're right here in Arizona.
Yep.
And in the last couple weeks ago, I lectured at one of the dental schools, suburb Mesa AT still. Yep. And I'm always lecturing every once in a while at Midwestern Dental School in Glendale. Right. And a lot of those kids come out and they look at guys like us and they say, "Well, Kevin, Howard, you graduated in the golden years. Mm-hmm. We're coming out of school $350,000 in student loans, and you're talking about this high-end dentistry." And what would you tell kids walking out of school today? Is everything you've accomplished still doable?
Oh, absolutely, and then some. I think it's doable because the market still bears it. It's not as easy. I don't think I graduated in the golden age. And in 1995, we were all over $100,000 in debt. Some of us almost $200,000 in debt. And then bought a practice, and then bought a house, and did everything that the young dentists today do. And I mean, some of us were smarter than others and didn't go $1 million in debt, but it certainly is doable. It's a matter of, I really think deeply, it's a matter of knowing who you are and honoring that, and being a little more thoughtful. But yes, it's very doable, very doable.
So what are you actually doing at K-squaredcommunications.com?
Facilitation, it's a little bit of everything. As you well know, dentists come out of dental school not with a full understanding of anything, if we can go so far as to say that, not a full understanding.
I call it dental kindergarten.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, everything from the business aspect to the communications to the leadership to the marketing, but also they don't understand how to do the dentistry. They don't understand occlusion, they don't understand the patient, they don't understand how to connect with the patient. They also don't understand how to honor themselves and honor the patient at the same time. So it's all of that, actually. It's and in today's day and age, it is more of what I would call integrative health. We have to look at helping the patient be healthy. It's bigger than just dentistry. It's been that way for a while, but yet it's moving in that direction more and more. It's something I've been passionate about for years. It's looking at sleep, it's looking at nutrition, it's looking at wellness. It's helping the patient move towards health. And I help dentists and practices do that using the gifts and tools that I have. They help patients move towards health using the gifts and tools that they have. So it's really not so complicated.
You know, a lot of people say that it's so competitive out there, and I always tell them that my dental office up the street, just right when you drove in here, 48th and Elliott, we just celebrated our 30th year anniversary, September 11th. And in 30 years, I've never met a dentist in all my travels around the world that doesn't take new patients. So when you look at any American who's born and raised and lived in the same town, by 65, they've gone to half a dozen dentists.
Sure.
When dentists are still, they want to solve all their problems with new patients.
Yep.
They don't want to solve their problems by closing the back door.
Right.
So you can go across the biggest legend in dentistry in your hometown and you say, I can never compete with that. Dude, if his hygienist works 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, that's 2,000 hours. She'd only see 1,000 people twice a year.
Yep.
So every time you throw 25 new patients on her schedule, 25 are out the back door and will come across the street to you. So no one has mastered keeping the patient.
No.
I mean, do you know anybody who does not take any new patients?
No.
Yeah.
Never have.
Yeah.
Never have.
They don't exist.
At least not that I know of for sure. But no, because but people die, people move. Families change. They are dictated by their health insurance, their dental insurance, no matter if they love you or not. So, of course, the practice is always changing. So you always have to be taking new patients.
And these big cities, when we were little, when I was a little kid, only the rich people flew in the airplane. But now Southwest Airlines is the number one carrier, 28% of the market.
Yes.
And everything I read on Phoenix and like LA, like 10% of the town flips every year.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
10% of the town.
Yeah.
Chasing jobs, going back home to Oregon, whatever.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that patients always think they want the cheapest. But my God, when it starts involving their mouth, it's like the iPhone. It's like, the iPhone is significantly nicer than the Droid. And it seems to be, when you look at maps where they, I love what this Reddit on porn called map porn on Reddit. Yeah. It's map porn where they take data and make maps. In every city, the richest areas are all iPhone. And the poorest areas are all Droid.
Droids, okay. Yeah.
And Droid is the lower cost, so it rules in Africa, Asia, South America, whatever.
Sure.
But they know they want to pay more money for an iPhone.
Yeah.
They think when it comes to their mouth, they want to pay down and get a Droid.
Right.
But every person I've talked to in dentistry, is upset about this filling done by someone. So it's a very sensitive service that we do. Yeah. And it's all surgery. I'm touching you. I'm working on you.
It's in your
I'm
face.
selling the invisible. I do think when they come out of dental school, they've probably only done, 5 crowns, 5 root canals, and 20 fillings. I mean,
yeah, it depends on the school, yeah.
Yeah. So they just got to do their basics for at least, 2, 3, 4 years? What do you think they have to focus on? Fillings, crowns, and basic endo, before they're ready to learn the fancy stuff that you've been teaching for years?
Yeah, and I think that's a great question actually, because I know from way back when I was in dental school, then of course when I was teaching at the dental school for the years, there are plenty of students who get to do some what you might call advanced dentistry. They do. I mean, I got done with my requirements in dental school my junior year, basically. So most of my senior year, I was able to I loved endo, so I did a bunch of root canals, a bunch. I was like the endodontist. I was one of the few endodontists from my class, basically. I got to do basically a full mouth rehab for a patient, but under the guidance of somebody. So I like your question, but I would say there's not a lot of people that just do the bare minimum. And you can get good, you can have exposure to something more than that while you're in dental school, so you know it exists. So how many years till they feel good about it? I think it depends on what you do immediately when you get out of school. Like, do you have a mentor? Is the person that you're working with or for moving you towards something like a Pankey or a Spear or a Kwieciens or a Dawson, so that you have that, so that you know it exists in the first place. Because then you're going to move there quicker because you know it exists. As opposed to if you don't know it exists, then all you're going to do is fix the broken tooth and put it back into the place that caused it to break in the first place.
So you said Kwieciens, Spear, Pankey, Dawson, Nash.
Sure.
There's Dickerson and LVI. But these kids have a lot of student loan debt. When I was at AT Still a couple Sundays ago, one kid had $400,000, and he's not graduating until May.
Sure,
I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I'm old school. I'm cheap. I like relationships. Gosh darn, they got periodontists. You know, they go set up in Old Town. There might be two periodontists, and one thinks in fear and scarcity and just wants you to refer everything to them.
Yeah.
And the other one thinks in hope, growth, abundance. Says, I'll mentor you. Yeah. I'll teach you perio. I'll teach you implants. And by the way, young kids, of all the 9 specialties, I'm still convinced that periodontists are the best treatment planners. I mean, it's not your oral surgeon, and your orthodontist isn't looking for interproximal decay. But in my experience, the best treatment plan presenters were periodontists. I mean, to help a young kid learn how to diagnose treatment. You laugh. Do you disagree?
No, I think that treatment planning has always been a huge part of my life, and a systematic way to look at every patient, and then including your periodontist and your orthodontist, is what it's all about. So I don't know.
Including your what?
Orthodontist and periodontist.
Yeah.
I mean, all the specialists, but I will speak for myself. Way back in the day in my Portland practice, I met with my orthodontist and periodontist. We met the third Thursday of every month.
Nice.
We had dinner, we had, our articulators and our radiographs out, and the server wherever we were having dinner was sort of grossed out. But they would even bring... It was not Applebee's, no. No, definitely not. But they would even bring cases of other dentists.
Yeah.
To say, you know what, it's a dentist that maybe doesn't have the experience that I had. I'm not saying I'm better than, I just had more experience. And they appreciated that. So basically, I was helping other patients of other dentists get better treatment because we were all treatment planning the same, very systematically.
You would not believe, but back in the day, like 30 years ago, all the young dumb dentists, opening up about the time I did, there's a periodontist named Mark Schlossman. You know Mark? He teaches perio at AT Still.
Okay, no.
And it was amazing because the smart ones, they take the FMX, study models, they do the diagnosed treatment plan, but they would go by Mark's place and ask Mark if he'd look at it too.
Yeah.
Every single time he added massive insight and value.
For sure.
And I mean, gosh, you could double your treatment plan, case presentation, everything, young kid, just when you do your diagnosis and treatment plan, is drive across the street and sit down with the periodontist. Yeah. And like I say, half of them live in fear and are crazy, except for orthodontists, and I'd say it's 90%. You go ask an orthodontist to help you with an Invisalign case, and he starts going into AFib. But in every town that I know of, the most successful orthodontist in the town is one who has an Invisalign study club for anybody to bring their Invisalign cases.
For sure. And
they all tell me this. The biggest one is in Australia. Who's that guy in Australia? The orthodontist that we had dinner with right by the. Anyway, he now has an orthodontic office in Sydney, north, south, east, west.
Sure.
I think
Derek
Mahoney. I think each one does like $5 million a year. And he says, you can't, when dentists were doing all the bleaching and crest cutting to it.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you're not going to change that. You're not going to go to City Hall and get the governor and the president to stop that. So Invisalign came, and hell, general dentists were doing it. And the orthodontist said they couldn't do it. Hell, now Invisalign's bypassing the orthodontist with Smiles Directly. I'm saying we don't even need an orthodontist.
Crazy.
But still, most of the orthodontists today don't even think a general dentist can do it.
Yeah.
When Invisalign, the company that they built, thinks we don't need either of you.
Yeah.
But he thought, well, they're going to do this. What he told me is that half the dentists that get into ortho after 2 or 3 years say, I don't want to be married to a case for 2 years. I'd rather do a root canal, build up and crown for $2,000 than be married to you once a month for 2 years. Yeah. And then he said, and all the ones that did refer, they didn't or did all their Invisalign, didn't do all their complex cases and everything. And the more general dentists he taught, the bigger he got. Yeah. And I mean, he's just a monster. And I saw that in Singapore. I've seen that in many American cities. So find specialists that think in abundancy and get friends with them. Yeah. Do you think if they walked out $300,000 in debt out of school, they should still do a Kwieciens, Spear, Pankey, Dawson, Nash, Dickerson?
Do I think they should?
Or do you think they should find a free mentor across the street?
That's a good question. I'm a firm believer in finding a Pankey or a Dawson or a Kwieciens. because I know it's life-changing. That experience is worth it. It will pay for itself. It's an investment, right?
I did all of them. I did all 6 of them.
You'll definitely get a return on your investment. However, there are certainly ways to move that along while you're without spending that much money right away. I mean, there are plenty of people who want to mentor people. When I was in Oregon, I through the AGD did a study club, and so basically, and I can say that it was basically a spear panky style treatment planning and philosophy that I did through the AGD, the Oregon AGD. And so I promise you, they did not pay as much to me as they were paying to Pankey and Dawson and Kwieciens, but yet they were getting amazing experience and knowledge to take back to their office. So it's something like that. It is something. In this day and age, that's one of the things that I do is working in practices with, whether it be the new patient experience and being a leader and communicating. I can also look at cases with them and treatment plan with them and talk about helping a patient move towards health, if you want to call it case presentation. I'm not a big fan of that word because it's not a presentation, it's just helping a patient decide what's most appropriate for them. But they don't have to go to Pankey or Kwieciens or Dawson. I can do that in an office as well because I'm doing the same thing. But there's pros and cons to both,
I look back, and another one I had to add is Mish. I did his 9 3-day weekend course.
Yep.
But, I look back, I loved all those guys. Carl Mish, my God, I love that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Kwieciens, I mean, my God. Spear. I never met LD Pankey. I'm not that old.
Me neither. Me neither. But he definitely impacted my life.
Becker,
Erwin Becker.
Erwin Becker.
Yeah, Erwin.
Love that guy.
Yeah, me too.
And loved it. We fought like cats and dogs. I mean, we argued up and down, but it was great because
he's passionate.
Yeah, it was just passion. Yeah. And gentlemen can disagree. And I love the fact that I was such a bad student of his that he had to take me to dinner. Several nights.
Oh, I'm sure.
So we're going to continue this discussion at dinner, and I'm like, "This is cool. I get free dinner."
Yeah, it's so
by
true.
arguing with the guy.
So true.
Well, the only thing. Let me just be clear. The only thing we argued about is, I have an MBA from ASU. Mm-hmm. There's more money in McDonald's than there is in Ruth's Chris. And some of these guys get so focused on the millionaire in North Scottsdale or Beverly Hills or Key Biscayne. Yep. And they leave so much money on the table. But as a dentist, I'm a firm believer that everyone needs a dentist.
Sure.
And I'm in Phoenix. I'm across the street from the Guadalupe Indian Reservation where they still have dirt floors. 25% of my practice doesn't even speak English. And I have learned some Spanish. I'm pretty sure that my name, Howard Ferran, in Spanish is actually Gordo Cracker. And because that seems to be the only 2 words I keep hearing over and over.
That might have nothing to do with your name.
It's like there's dentists on Dental Town. Like, what do you do when someone's coming in, they want pain pills? Dude, you live in a society where 15% are alcoholics. Get the frick over it. I used to work at Walgreens, and on Sunday mornings, you know what we had to do with one of the employees in Kansas City? They didn't sell liquor till noon. So someone had to be in the aisle where they sold Listerine because it's 28% alcohol.
Yeah.
And someone stand there, all the alcoholics would come in, they drink the whole deal of Listerine, then put the counter back, and if you weren't paying attention, all your Listerine was in. So I don't care. They all need a doctor. Yeah. And they don't need a judgmental doctor, and they don't need a condescending doctor. Yeah. By the way, condescending means talking down.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
And, so I loved them all. But looking back at those, what I loved the most is the people I met at those courses.
Yeah.
Because what that young dentist does, a lot of them leave dental school and they lived in an apartment with 3 guys who all they did is whine, bitch, and complain and moan, and the sky's falling, it's all unfair, and everything is a problem with the man in the mirror. But when you go start finding the dentists that are taking 100, 200, 300 hours to see a year, there's no limit, it's all growth, and if you hang with the right birds of a feather, you'll fly to the top in dentistry.
Yeah. There's 2 things you just said that struck me. One is about patients coming in. I'm actually giving a presentation next week at the American Equilibration Society in Chicago, and it's about the connection to the stomatic-gnathic system to overall health, right? But the beginning of that, at least that's what I'm presenting, is to make an assumption. You know what happens when you make an assumption, right? Except this is a very safe assumption that every patient wants to be healthy. No, if you ask anybody today, if they got to wave a magic wand, excuse me, if they got to wave a magic wand and say, would you, if you could have optimal health right now, would you? Show me one person that's going to say no. Of course they want to be healthy.
Well, a lot of times, married women have no desire to live. They're like, yeah, you could just shoot me.
No, they would wave the magic wand. It would just be a different vision of what we have. Yeah, but they would. And so that is a big deal, though, to make an assumption that every patient wants to be healthy. You know, nobody wants to have chronic illness. Nobody wants to have some chronic pain or even acute pain. So that's a big deal.
That's my washing machine, thank you.
I got that. You want me to keep talking?
Yeah.
I'll wait for that one. I love those washing machines.
That means I overloaded the washing machine. Whenever I put too much in it spins out of control. Ryan, remind me not to put so much laundry in the washing machine.
The other thing that you reminded me of is, you said attach yourself to good people, is, you know, through Pankey, back in the day for me, was a study club that wasn't an official Pankey study club, but it was a study club that people that I went through Pankey with, you know, we just decided we wanted to learn and grow together. And the mentors for that study club, David Latz and Margie Mannering, I will completely honestly tell you today, I learned more from those two about life and dentistry and good dentistry and occlusion and understanding who the patient is. I learned more from those two than I did from anybody else in my whole career, my whole life. Like that's, so going back to the young dentist, yes, I started my education with Frank up in Seattle and then at Pankey there, but it was connecting with those two and learning from those two in a small group environment that absolutely changed my life. And any young dentist can do that. You can attach to somebody and learn, and that's my hope for every young dentist.
Now I'm going to prove that I'm older than you.
Yes.
I'm so damn old. When I first saw John Kwiecien and Frank Spear, they were together.
Yep, that's old.
I'm so old that when I first saw Cliff Ruddle and Steve
Buchanan, they were together. There's been a lot of dental divorces.
Those are a lot of, and Dickerson, I think he married, divorced. Who was he with? Gosh darn, Hornbrook. Rosenthal.
Yeah, Rosenthal, yeah.
Nash.
Yeah, there's been a lot of divorces. Yeah.
And the reason I point that out is that why are you marrying another dentist? I mean, you look at the biggest legends in history, Cliff Ruddle and Steve Buchanan, two of the greatest, nicest guys on the universe, two of the greatest endodontists that ever lived. They couldn't stay married. John Kwiecien, Frank Spear, both world class. They couldn't stay married. Yeah. Dickerson and Hornbrook and Rosenthal and Nash and others. I mean, I think one of the greatest pleasures in owning your own business is that you're a totalitarian dictator.
You are a totalitarian dictator.
You know, and they divorce over things you don't see coming. You go, oh, this is my best friend in dental school. Yeah, but you want to go into laser dentistry and CAD/CAM. And he wants to go in cosmetics, or he wants to do a big Medicaid practice, or he wants to start Denture World. Yeah. And again, there's nothing wrong with Denture World, because if 100 dentists take an all-on-4 course, 99 will never do one all-on-4, and they're all going to go home and do all-on-none 5 times a year for the rest of their life. Yeah. And there's more money. There's 10 times more money than all-on-none than all-on-4. You just don't get it. You're always chasing this Clear Choice.
Yeah.
Clear Choice, biggest national DSO implants in an hour. They do 17,000 cases a year in a country with 330 million people. Yeah. And I can name you denture worlds and denture universes from Phoenix to what's the armpit of, what did Johnny Carr say was the armpit of California? Bakersfield.
I was going Fresno, but Bakersfield, yes.
Where these places do $5 million a year.
Yeah.
And just doing dentures and but anyway.
Yeah.
So but back to healthcare, where you think they just want what the insurance will pay. My favorite economist was Joseph Schumpeter's creative destructionism. I learned the most of that. But Milton Friedman, remember his healthcare test, the little blue pill?
Yes.
Yeah, he said, people would always say we spend too much money on healthcare. And he'd say, okay, so as an economist, we have to devise a clarity question because humans' words and actions never match up. That's why they quit doing focus groups. Because, 10 years ago, Phoenix is a big hotbed for all, they pay $100, you come in, they'd hand a product around the table. But what you all said about the product, and if you'd buy it and what you pay for it, never matched up to results, so those are gone now. But Milton came out with a little blue pill, and he said, here's your options, Kevin. You either die tonight, or you buy this little blue pill, and you die 1 year from tonight. Those are your only options. Do you want to die tonight, or what will you give me for your pill?
I'll give you a little bit for that blue pill.
Yeah, would you give me your house?
Maybe.
Your car?
Possibly.
Your iPhone?
For sure.
Yeah. So the bottom line is the only people who say we spend too much money on healthcare are government officials who steal other people's money with the IRS and then buy healthcare for other people. But when it's you. I mean, you find any mom with a 2-year-old baby and you're saying your baby's dying of cancer, what would you give me to save your baby from cancer?
Yeah.
She give you everything.
Yeah.
So when you go to the people and the people say, I'll give you my house, my car, my iPhone, my savings, my 401k if you don't let my baby die.
Yeah.
Then how does the government get so detached to say we spend too much money on healthcare? So the bottom line is it's the same with teeth. I've asked this question to 1,000 women in the last 30 years. I say, how much money would I have to give you to pull your front tooth and you can never replace it and the rest of your life you'll have no front tooth? You'll look like someone from Oregon.
Yeah. Southern Oregon.
Southern Oregon.
Yeah. Eastern. Southern.
Every damn woman. Oh my God, no. I said, well, obviously you take $1 million. They go, no, I wouldn't take $1 million. And just a minute ago, you were all upset because you had $300,000 in student loans. Now you won't take $1 million cash for your incisor.
Yeah.
So it's survival, and so health is the only wealth.
Well, I think
the
that's
only true wealth is health.
Yes, and I think that's what we keep coming back to the young dentist, and I'm going to double back on something you said a while ago. 2 things to really help the newer dentist. Age maybe isn't a part of it anymore, but the newer dentist is, one, is to always be genuinely, the safe assumption that we said earlier, everybody wants to be healthy. And then be genuinely worried or concerned about the patient. Genuinely, like from your heart. Like I'm worried that if we don't address what's going on right now, if we don't take a closer look at what we're seeing right now, I'm worried about long term for you. I want to help you be healthy. But if I am genuinely worried or concerned about you, genuinely, as a human being, then I'm going to connect with you as a patient. If I pretend to be worried or concerned so that I can talk you into doing dentistry, your BS detector is going to go off and you'll go somewhere else. So one of the biggest things for a new dentist is to find the way where you can connect with another human being and be genuinely worried or concerned about them. Genuinely.
My buddy across the street from me grew Licata's play. What's his name, Ryan?
Brett Houston.
Brett Houston?
Houston, H-E-W-S-O-N.
E-W-S-O-N. Houston.
Brett
Houston.
Brett Houston. You're probably wondering why he's my best friend. I don't know his name. I'm senile. I admit it, dude. Me and him we always talk sincerely. We're across the street from each other forever. Because when you come into me and I tell you have 4 cavities, you're just trying, are you selling me something? Or,
right.
how do I really know? And I want to double back around you because I want to know if, in case presentation, you don't hate that term, but if there's any technologies that you think help with case presentation. But he has the same thing with guys like me, because when the engine light comes on, everybody knows it's the idiot light, because, I grew up with 5 sisters playing Barbie dolls. I don't know anything under the hood. Lots of people go in there have 0 experience.
Right.
30 years ago, lots of kids were in the garage pulling transmissions, doing tune-ups, changing spark plugs. Not anymore. Those cars are way.
No, you just go to Jiffy Lube. That's all you can do.
He is more successful than I am. His business is booming, but it's all because.
So it depends on your definition of success.
Well,
he's got great reviews, and he's got 8 bays filled, and he's got long-term staff. But the bottom line is, all the people around here trust him.
Yeah.
And an auto mechanic is like a used car salesman, because they don't know when that engine light comes on and say, oh, you need a whole new transmission. She's saying, is it just a dead battery?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's a mild alternator? And he has to convey trust. And it comes from true empathy.
Yes.
I'm so sorry you don't know
Yes.
what an alternator is, or lifters, or,
But I got you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you move towards health.
So how can a person, the bizarre natural selection of dentistry physicians and lawyers, that they just selected the ones with 4.0. So it's always the introvert geek who sat in the library for 4 years.
Yep.
If he or she was well-rounded in a frat, a sorority, had a lover, went out to a movie, had date night, anything well-rounded, they would have made B's and C's and never been a doctor, dentist, lawyer. So everybody listening to you, I mean, when you tell me that you understand geometry, trig, and calculus, you're a freak. Normal people don't understand that shit. How do you train them to take their introvert trigonometry and have them convey empathy and sympathy and case presentation and leadership? I mean, how many of these dentists, when they get done doing a root canal, go in their private office and shut the door?
All of them.
Yeah, when you're watching the Super Bowl, where's the coach? Right on the line, walking with the line, totally involved. I always walk out my patient to the front desk.
Yeah.
If I'm running late, Don says, Howard, Kevin Kwiecien, your next patient, he's not too happy. You're supposed to see him at 10 o'clock at 10:15. And I walk out there, dude, I'm so sorry.
You just said it, though. In fact, that was what the other thing I was going to circle back on. You brought it back again, which is the new dentist or the mature dentist who is an introvert that just wants to go back in their office and shut the door because they're exhausted after having to be on stage while they were with a patient, because most of them are introverts, and it's exhausting. I know that from personal experience. True success is the two things. It's one, being worried or concerned about a patient, assuming everybody wants to be healthy, and the other is developing a true a team-centered practice. It's not about you, Howard, or me, Kevin, anymore. It's not even about the name of the business, whatever it is. It is, if you walk in every day and your goal is to create a team, and it sounds a little hokey, but I'm very passionate about it. If you create a culture in the office where you look at every one of your team members and say, man, I love you. I genuinely love you. And I want you to be happy. And that doesn't mean that the whole practice revolves around you, front office, or you, assistant, or you, hygienist. It is a team-centered approach. There's a book that's called Outward Mindset. And basically, and it is, and it's basically, it couples on Peter Senge's, the 5th discipline. So throw in Peter Senge.
Outward Mindset?
Outward Mindset, yeah, by the Arbinger Institute.
What's that?
It's written by the Arbinger Institute. They also wrote Leadership and Self-Deception.
The
Arbinger Institute.
Can you send me that? The Arbinger Institute?
Yeah.
Arbinger Institute wrote a book, Outward Mindset?
Outward Mindset. You couple that with Peter Senge, who is one of the most brilliant people who look at leaders and team-centered philosophies, and incorporate that into your practice, because it's a business. And so Outward Mindset basically is every day if you walk in and you say, as the dentist, assistant, what do you need today to do your job to the best of your ability? Hygienist, what do you need to do your job to the best of your ability? And everybody else in the practice. But everybody else does the same for everybody else. The assistant looks at the hygienist and says, what do you need today to do your job to the best of your ability? What do you need, Dr. Fran, so you can do your job to the best of your ability? And everybody does that. That's outward mindset. But then you develop systems. And I'm not a big fan of that term, but it is what it is. If every system in the office is designed so that everybody can do the job to the best of their ability. It used to be that we were patient-centered, right? Every system was designed around so the patient could have the best experience ever. It's all about the patient. It's not about me, the dentist. It's not about her. It's about the patient. If we start to look at every system being designed around the team and supporting each other, that walking up to the front office, you know why you're going to walk the patient up to the front office, even if you're an introvert? Because Cindy, your front office, said to you, Howard, for me to do my job to the best of my ability, I need you to walk the patient up. and verbally say what you did today and what you want next so that the patient can hear you tell me, so that that's the patient handoff. Now, if you go sit in your office and go email somebody because you're exhausted from doing the root canal, you're not helping me do my job to the best of my ability. And now you have a reason to walk the patient up to the front because you're doing it for Cindy, your front office person, who you love and respect. And that's what she needs to do her job to the best of her ability. So for all the young dentists, every dentist, it really is about looking at a team-centered practice. And all of a sudden, the energy goes through the roof. And who does get benefited probably the most from it is the patient. Because they walk in and they go, this is phenomenal. There's something about, they don't know. They say, I don't know what it is about this place, but it is different. It's different. And not only did you ask me about my sleep and my nutrition and my wellness, nobody's done that before. You've also looked at the way my whole chewing system works, my muscles, my joints, and the way my teeth come together. But then there's something about the feeling about this place, the way you all interact with each other. You want to talk about shutting the back door, that's what we started the conversation with, right? There's nobody trying to go out the back door unless they have to move or die or something, because why would they go anywhere else? So that really, I get a little passionate about this, but that really is how the young dentist can be different and survive. You started this podcast with the question, can the young dentist achieve what we've achieved? Can they still have that practice? Oh my God, yes. And moreover, because luckily this next generation, I'm not a big fan of going millennials, but there's something of using the excuse, oh, it's all about the millennials. I mean, they're human beings. Call them what they are. They're human beings. But the cool thing about the millennial generation is they do like human connection. They do like collaborative environment. They do like connecting with another human being. So I think this works in their favor.
Did you know a third, the baby boomers, a quarter didn't have children.
Yeah.
They're saying the millennials will be a third.
Won't have children?
Yeah. Yeah, when you go to the 20 richest economies in the world, everybody's bashing immigration and immigrants and you can't get a DACA thing passed. If you backed out immigration of the 20 richest countries in the world, the United States, Canada, Germany, Sweden, Switzerland, it'd be like Japan. Japan, Ryan, how many less people are there in Japan every year? That's a number you need to memorize for your olds, that. But in Japan, it's huge. I mean, and it's hard to grow an economy in a shrinking population. Yeah. God, you made me think of so many things. Outback and a lot of these chain restaurants are getting rid of their breakfast because when they were...
How did you come up with this? I'm dying to know where you're going with this.
Because you're saying, that everybody do everything for the patient.
Oh, yeah.
But what about the team?
Yes.
And Outback was looking at their managers back in the day and they said, their breakfast, lunch, and dinner, these managers are in here from early morning, late at night, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And we have a bar, and basically in 3 to 4 years, our managers are alcoholics and we have to fire them.
Yep, totally.
So they started looking at lifestyle and they said, we need to do a lifestyle. So they gave up the breakfast because all the MBA and Wall Street people are saying, well, you're
missing out on the business.
Your land and building and everything's paid for.
Yeah, the more hours you're open, the more money you're going to make.
Yeah,
exactly.
But the toll on human capital, they said no. And that's another thing I look at dentists. When you have an office and they're in there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 and a half day on Saturday, they pace themselves for like a marathon.
Oh, it's terrible.
They're just barely moving.
Yeah.
And then I'll see an office that'll work like Monday through Thursday from 6 a.m. to noon.
Yep.
They come in there, it's the 100-meter
so
dash.
Good. So good.
Everybody's pumped and going, and they'll burn 6 to noon without taking a break.
And love
do
it.
more production.
Yep.
And then go refuel for 3 days.
Yep.
And so many, I think Rick Kirshner was the first one that showed me on that. He said, what was it?
It's dropped 1 million in the past 5 years. I can't find one for every year, but in the past
So
5
a million?
years, 1 million people.
So 200,000 a year.
Yeah.
6 years ago, Japan was the first country on earth to sell more adult diapers than baby diapers.
And they had a negative birth rate.
Yeah. And they're at 0.9. You need 2.3 kids per family to keep the herd stable, and they're at like 0.9.
Yeah.
So, but Japan's problem is they don't like any immigrants. They're like, in fact, the only restaurants, were you with me? You were with me,
Yeah.
Jack. The only restaurants in our life where we were turned down because we were white was where?
Japan.
But where?
It was Tokyo.
It was Tokyo.
Tokyo.
I mean, you were mortified, were you?
I was legitimately infuriated.
I mean, it was crazy. It's like Japanese only. It's like, they're Irish, man. Really? Not gonna let Irishmen in here?
Yeah.
And oh my God, but they don't. If you went to Tokyo and you married a girl, the family would just consider her. She died.
Yeah.
And so every country has their challenges. But I still think the hardest skill they're ever going to learn, like you're talking about being a great dentist.
No.
They have to be a great leader.
No, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Team-centered is being
And
a great. It has nothing to
team-centered.
do with dentistry.
And I can't tell you how many dental offices I've been in and how many seminars I've given where I'll say, well, which one's your dentist? They go, rolls her eyes, that guy.
Yeah.
Rolling in contempt. There was a study done in Washington, D.C. where they're still doing it. They can predict 5-year out, 60-month out divorce rate to like something like 96%.
Yeah.
And what they do is during the session, they have you on high speed, like 100 frame per second deal, and they're looking at your body language while you're talking. And they're looking at the words you choose. Like if you say, my dog, my friends, my night out, my checking, my, they're in the mind, they're not even married. But if everything's like our friends, our dog, our checking, our, they're like, okay, these people don't even have separate identities. They can never go apart.
Yep.
But in body language, rolling the eyes or flaring the nostrils during a deal rolling the eyes was the highest predictor of divorce within 5 years. And I mean, every single seminar I've ever gone to, some staff members up there rolling their eyes about the doctor, and it's like, okay, how do I know that your assistant is toxic in 1 second? And she's on your payroll, and every dental office consultant I ever talk to, one of the biggest problems is there's always a toxic person in the office, and half the time it's the dentist.
Yeah.
Half the time the nightmare is the dentist.
I would agree.
But getting team harmony, those patients feel that.
Oh, they do.
When you walk in there, anybody who's been in the biz 30 years, when you walk into a dental office, you can feel a successful office instantly.
Yeah.
It's just good karma, good vibes, everybody's smiling.
It's love.
Kevin, how are you doing?
But it is. It is like it's like walking into like there's this energy of everybody loves and respects each other here, and that is the outward mindset. That's the team-centered approach. And
you have to nail that. You have to nail that.
Well, and it's pretty darn helpful if you do.
It's everything because it affects your stress.
Yes.
Your treatment plan presentation.
You don't feel like you need to go into your office and shut the door after the root canal. You don't. Like that. It's a game changer. It really is. And they don't. And going back to your Outback Steakhouse example. I mean, I remember vividly.
You did not see that coming, did you?
No. You still. But I like the example though. Back when in my Portland practice, I had a practice in Reno and then in Portland. But my Portland practice, there was a time where I was moving more and more into academia. And that was where my energy was, right? I loved my practice, I loved doing the dentistry, but I got asked to do some things at the dental school. So I started giving. I didn't get paid for it at first. I didn't get paid for my Wednesdays at the dental school. I started giving my whole Wednesday. And my team was like, you're what? And I'm like, oh, you can still do hygiene here because we're in Oregon, and they could still do hygiene, and it allowed the assistant to get caught up with lab work. It allowed the other assistant to get organized. And then I was really doing dentistry Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. That was it. Okay, do you know that the energy in the entire office was through the roof? The Wednesday when I wasn't there was awesome for everybody else. I recharged because I was at the dental school. And I never practiced dentistry more than 2 days in a row. Monday, Tuesday, went to the dental school Wednesday, then back on Thursday. Production went up, efficiency went up, everybody's energy went up. We all supported each other. I mean, that really is, like going back to the Outback, it's like, yes, you have to pay the bills. You can't just work 1 day a week and make everybody happy and say, now go have 6 days off. There's a happy medium in there. But if you are looking at helping everybody be healthy, helping them have time for their families, and encouraging them to be healthy. One of my biggest, it's not new, but it seems to be new in the world right now, I don't know why, is if we're asking our patients to be healthy, but we're not helping our team or ourselves be healthy, that lack of congruency shows through so quickly to most human beings. So if I treat you, my team member, if I say, are you getting enough sleep? How are you sleeping, by the way? Are you apneic? Have we dealt with that? Are we dealing with the way you're sleeping? How about your nutrition? How about your wellness? And by the way, how about your mouth? How you feeling? How do your teeth look? Right? And then have I done that for myself? But if we create an environment in our practice where we really love our team members and care about their life outside of dentistry, then it shows. And by the way, why wouldn't you? Your slaves, you care about them as much as you care about your kids. You should. And when a young dentist realizes that that's what a big part of being a leader and a communicator is, you don't have to look at what do I need to do to be a leader, how am I a good communicator. Mostly it's about being genuine and vulnerable, right? It's about having human connection. And that is a good leader, and that is a good communicator. So if you're just vulnerable and genuine, you just knocked out two things that dentists don't like on a regular basis, which is leadership and communication.
You know, I remember two big lectures back when we got out of school were Jim Pride and Walter Haley.
Of course.
Remember those guys?
Yeah.
And I remember Jim Pride was always saying, you know, why can't you sell these big cosmetic cases in there and these orthodontic cases and all this stuff? And then the guy next to you be saying, I mean, Jim had some of the worst teeth I'd ever seen in my life. Walter Haley and Jim Pride, brown, crooked, gnarled, mangy. And I was the one who called Jim out. I was raising my hand. I said, well, if it's so easy to sell, why do you have the darkest, brownest, gnarliest teeth in the room?
Yeah.
And I always saw that a big part of selling a lot of dentistry in the cosmetic dental offices. And what we did in our office is that when assistants came, we fixed up their teeth.
Yeah.
We gave them braces, bleaching, bonding, and it was so cool. And people say, well, does Invisalign work? And they go, you know,
I'm in the middle
go back to 1987. Well, does bleaching work? I'm wearing the tray now. Well, can you wear it at work? I'm wearing it now. And when you go in the offices, who's the guy out there in Beverly Hills, our Century City, Bill Dorfman.
Dorfman, yeah.
Oh my God, every person in his office has $1 million smile. And sometimes they will have like the rocking hot person to do this, but she doesn't have the teeth.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't have the teeth, and they redo the teeth.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed signal
It
when
is.
when they pull up the office and your two dental assistants are having a cigarette break out the back door,
Yeah.
and then they're running in there
Yeah.
smelling like smoke, telling you to quit smoking and
Yeah.
do all that.
You know, it's funny though. There's a.
You remember Walter Haley's teeth though?
No, I don't.
My friends that worked there said every single seminar he ever gave, at least one dentist volunteered
To do his
redo all his
dentistry?
teeth for free. At least one,
Yeah,
and he'd say no every time.
yeah.
He was a character.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting about that is, so, you know, if you look at all the practices and we make everybody optimal, right, which isn't just smile, right, because form follows function. So teeth that look good usually function good. It's not just about making them look good, which is one of my issues with this mail home ortho these days. It's like, because you can make them look good, but if they're not functioning well, they're just going to break and crack or create muscle pain or joint pain or loose teeth.
But do you think it's going
but
forward with Small Direct Club, or do you think there'll be legal interventions? I mean, the American Orthodontic Association, the Association for Orthodontics, I mean, obviously there's lawsuits flying.
Oh yeah, but my guess something like that is here to stay. That's my slightly uneducated, I would say, but slightly educated guess is that it's not going away. Some form of that is.
America always pretends it's about truth, liberty, and justice. It's about money's the answer, what's the question? And this whole country is based on build it faster, easier, higher quality, lower cost. And the low cost Southwest Airlines, Walmart, IKEA, Costco, and Smiles Direct is where this country will always have. This country doesn't care if the rich king has enough limos. They always want to get the most limos to the middle class.
Yeah.
So that's the direction the country's been going for 300 years. So you're not going to put that genie back in a bottle.
No. Although the good news is that I'll come back to the everybody having perfect dentistry in the office. But the good news about money and the way the system is changing is, honestly, one of the good things is these days, because of digital dentistry and the way we are practicing, dentists can, if they want, they can start to charge less than they used to. They can help keep the cost of dentistry down because of advancements in materials and technology. So,
can you give some examples?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the obvious one would just be CAD/CAM dentistry, right? I mean, you can certainly do a crown. I hate to just because we always talk in crown units, but you can certainly do a crown for less than you used to right now, even if you're still paying for the CAD/CAM unit. When you look at the big picture, you know, you go to, and I'm not saying this is optimal, I'm saying that you have an opportunity to charge less than you used to. You know, you don't have to set up the operatory twice. You don't have to have an extra hour 2 weeks later. You can be doing something else at that time. The materials
But would the
are less.
doctor be the one scanning, designing, milling, staining, glazing, or would that all be an expanded function?
Well, I love the idea of empowering others in the practice to do that, because that's when they love their job more.
Because
Right?
I think it actually costs more money to do CAD/CAM if the doctor does it all.
Oh,
I've
oh
seen
yeah, it's pretty close, right? Yeah, it's not an obvious you're making, but yeah, it's about creating systems, right? That make sense, and you could say, you know what, my buddy next door is charging $2,200 for a crown or whatever, and yes, I used to as well.
Economists think it's pretty damn cool when the dentist is buying a $100,000 CAD/CAM and giving it to an American worker. And building your skill set, you know what I mean?
Yes,
I mean,
for sure.
That's raising human productivity.
Absolutely.
But my problem with the CAD/CAM is so many of these dentists, they're control freaks. They can't delegate. So when they actually buy a CAD/CAM and do it all themselves, like, I cringe. But you know, it's like Samir Puri,
yes,
teaching CAD/CAM up the street here.
Yes.
I'm in Phoenix. He's up there in Scottsdale teaching that stuff. You know, the dentist that goes there alone, to me, that's frightening. But the dentist that brings the two assistants and sneaks out and goes to the golf course 3 times during the weekend, that's the guy that could make money off it.
Yeah.
It would, on CAD/CAM, do you have any brand names that you like?
Well, I mean, for the past 4 years, I've been dealing with almost strictly CERAC, because I was working with Sam at Spear.
CERAC, which is Dentsply Sirona.
Sirona, yeah.
Well, is that company called Dentsply Sirona?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or are there any others? I mean, at the last IDS meeting in Cologne, there's a lot of new participants.
Trios and 3Shape is phenomenal, right?
For scanning or CAM?
Both.
So Trios and 3Shape have the milling machine?
They don't. As I sit here right now, I feel sort of stupid because I don't know the answer, because I've been so sort of in my own little bubble. No, I mean, there's several milling machines out now.
Yeah.
Several.
Because, like, in everything in America, I mean, when I bought my first DVD player, you won't even believe this, it was $800.
Yeah.
And it sucked.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, it's $400 and it was twice as good.
Yeah.
Now they're under 50 and they're perfect.
Yeah.
So I thought CAD/CAM would be coming down because Dentsply Sirona used to have an exclusive with Patterson.
Yes, now it's...
And they canceled that.
Yes, that changed the world a little bit.
Because they wanted to carry... Patterson wanted to be able to carry 3Shapes and Trios and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But so what other low cost? You said with technology that dentists are able to do lower cost dentistry.
Yeah, it is materials and supplies and everything we just talked about, the flow in the office. You really can. You could do dentistry for less per hour now than you used to be able to. But
any other technologies or materials kind of mind?
Well, think about a printer. Think about a
3D printing.
3D printing and creating a guide, a surgical guide. That you can do that. You have your own CBCT unit. You've scanned the arch in, right, with your own whichever scanner you want. So you have a CBCT. You've got your implant software in there. You know where you want the implant. You've got a 3D printer. You can now real quickly and efficiently print out your own surgical guide.
You know how I'm going to get really, really rich? I'm going to buy a 3D printer that prints out 3D printers.
Oh, that is a good
sell them
one.
out the back door of my dental office.
Talk to me about that one before you go there.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you $10 for that investment.
Back to materials. You and I, when I was in school, cosmetic dentistry was the PFM.
Yeah, mine too.
PFM,
we stacked porcelain.
Yeah, and if it wasn't a PFM, it was gold or amalgam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I never saw it coming in 1987 that someday the PFM would go the way of Tyrannosaurus Rex. But when we started doing posterior composites, I mean, they took forever. Layer, cure, layer, cure, layer, cure. A lot of people are wondering with these bulk fill composites. I mean, it seems so tempting just to fill that baby, fill up the boxes, cure, fill up the rest, cure. as opposed to all those incremental errors. Are you a fan of bulk fill or not really?
Well, you ask an interesting question. I happen to be, two of my really great friends and mentors both are Jack Fabricate and Tom Hilton from Oregon.
Jack who?
Fabricate.
Spell that.
He's Ferracane, Fabricate.
And he teaches at Oregon Health Science?
Yes, yep. He's one of the associate deans.
Fabricate.
Yep, and then Tom Hilton is an author he's one of the authors of one of the books, Operative Dentistry. And both have done a lot of research on composites, and I tend to abuse my, I don't abuse it because they're happy to share with me, but I tend to utilize my relationship with both of them to stay up on composites and the research that they're doing. There's the snowplow technique where you put a little flowable in there first and then start to layer it up. But the bulk fill, what they do know today is that absolutely the bulk fill it's curing, a good solid 4 millimeters in depth. So it's so if you use warm composite, if you can warm it, and you can, with bulk fill, you're going to get a great adaptation and a great depth of cure. So it is, it's getting easier.
Can you send them an email and CC me, howard@dentaltown.com, and see if they come on the show and talk about it?
Sure.
Because it's a very common question because...
Jack does they both do a phenomenal. Jack, this past year, Tom is absolutely amazing, one of my very best friends. Jack did in this past year, where I saw him at the American Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry and a Restorative Academy this past year, and did a great update on today's composites. And it's one of the best presentations out there right now on today's posterior composites. So
because it's one of those things where people want to believe it. They hope it's true.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have the research from like I say. When somebody asks me a question, I don't know the answer, but I know who to go to. And so when somebody asks me a question about posterior composites, and I go, I don't know, but I know the guy to ask.
Yeah.
And so they make me look sort of smart, but everybody knows I didn't know. I just asked.
Let me.
Jack and
I'm gonna send you an email on that because that's $1 million question.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
that people are wanting to know.
Yeah. Great people.
There it goes. So I'll be haunting you now with email.
It's okay.
So what are my homies going to learn if they go to your website, which is www.ksquaredfacilitation.com? What are they going to find? What are they going to learn? What do you do for them?
Thank you for asking. What I do for them is the exact same thing they do for their patients, which is do a comprehensive exam to find out what's going on with the system in the first place. There's nothing cookie cutter about it. It's who is the person, just like you do your patients, all the dentists out there. Who is your patient as a human being? How are they working right now? How is their whole stomatognathing system working? That's what I do for the practice. Who are you, the dentist? If you came to me right now, say, Howard, who are you as the human being? Why are you coming to me? What are you struggling with? What are you looking for in general? And then just like I would if you were my patient, I would do a nice comprehensive exam. I would do the same if you were a dentist. I look at your whole practice. I look at how it's going on, all of your systems, and then come up with a treatment plan. And the treatment plan is, and that comes back to what we were talking about teams earlier. Does everybody in your team have to have the optimal smile and function? It would be cool. It would be awesome. But maybe that's not appropriate for everybody. But we can take steps to move towards health as opposed to doing nothing. And what steps are appropriate for you? So again, I keep going back and forth between patient and what I would do for a practice or a dentist because it has to be congruent. What I'm doing for the practices is exactly what I've done for teams and patients my whole life, which is care about you as a human being, evaluate how you're doing, understand what optimal looks like, and decide what steps are appropriate for you to move towards health. And that might be leadership, it might be communication, it might be systems, it might be dentistry. You might just be suffering because you don't have the confidence in dentistry. You don't understand occlusion. You don't understand joints and muscles and how it's connected. I can help with that. It might be to help your team understand that and create team-centered systems so that you can do the dentistry that you want to do. And it might be helping you become a better leader or communicator, and it's probably all of that.
So again, on your website, so is this you? What do you actually do? I mean, do you go to the office, or is your website? Is it lecture? Is it videos and CD-ROMs?
There's no CDs. No CDs.
No CD-ROMs.
CDs, that I can say no on that one for sure.
So is it one-on-one? Would you call yourself a practice management consultant? I mean, obviously you're an international lecturer, but what?
Yes.
What tools are on your website?
On my website?
I mean, to my homies, if they call you up,
sure.
do you go to their office?
Yes.
Is this over the phone?
Yeah, it's whatever is appropriate.
It's what they need.
It's whatever is appropriate.
So you have like a cafeteria.
I do.
You can go to the office.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, go to the office. I look at numbers. I look at the business side of the practice, because the business tells you a lot about how the practice is moving along.
I want to back up on. Okay, you said you don't like case presentation. What word do you like?
You know, I like to, on the day where you would call it a case presentation day, it is a day where, going back to Bob Barkley's, co-diagnosis and co-discovery. Yeah, no, sorry, I bring that one up because it's but we forget about that. We think, the young dentists out there think that they have to have a treatment plan, and the day they present it, they've got to be ready for every no that the patient says. So they have to have a backup plan to the backup plan to the backup plan, and be ready for whatever the patient says, and have thought about everything the patient might say. As opposed to, if it starts out early on that we are co-discovery with you and co-diagnosis, that the day that you would call case presentation is just, it's the obvious next step towards health. It's us coming up with a plan that is appropriate for you as Howard Fran, that patient on that day. So it doesn't have to be stressful, because it started the day they walked in the door.
The thing that I have so much passion about Bob Barkley, who could be the father of preventive dentistry. I mean, when he was going around, he died early in a plane crash off to a lecture back in those small planes. Back then,
he wants to help his patients get worse at the slowest possible rate.
Yeah, I mean, we all end up dying.
Yeah.
My goal is to be the first person that doesn't die. It's
Nice.
my goal.
If you know what, I'll be second. I'll be watching you.
But back in his day, you're not going to believe this. When dentists would talk about setting up a hygiene department, they'd always say, "I'm too busy extracting teeth and doing immediate dentures." And I mean, right now at 2018, you think, no way. I mean, that's what he was up against.
Right.
But he wasn't digitized. So he was in lectures. So he's gone. And I've always asked homies out there, if you got any of these old classics. I mean, I'm so glad I got to do a podcast with the infamous Carl Misch, Bob Ibsen, the pediatric laser dentist legend Margolis in Chicago. I mean, I've already done 3 podcasts where they passed, and I'm so excited because most podcasts they do audio for iTunes, but I always do video.
Yeah.
Because YouTube and Google are the 2 biggest search engines.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And our views on video are amazing.
It's
and
fun to
plus
watch.
on Facebook, if you upload a video, I mean, we've had 10 where we upload the video on Facebook that had over 190,000 views.
Right.
But if you post on Facebook a link to leave Facebook and go to iTunes or YouTube, they kill that.
Yeah.
I mean, it will not go out. But so I've already got 3 RIP podcasts, and I always wish I could find a Bob Barkley and an LD Pankey.
Oh yeah.
It'd probably be on a VCR.
Yep. Oh well.
By the way, a VCR, that's this whole thing that it was a tape.
Remember there's beta and VHS.
I got an email from Omar Reed. I think his last email was like, "Oh, I have a Bob Barkley video that your dad would want." Pulling it for now. Yeah, it's a classic Barkley tape. So we actually just
Nice.
Omar Reed has a videotape.
Nice. Omar, we did Omar. And so will you call him on that?
Yeah, I did. I said, "How can I get it from you, Mom and Dad? Pick it up."
Yeah, and on his email where he says he can't call Dad, I've missed no calls from Omar. He's in my phone. But yeah, you go pick that up. I don't want to. You're young. You can drive clear across town. See, what's weird about Phoenix is you're not going to believe this in Phoenix, but I have friends in Queen Creek, which takes me an hour to get there. And then I have friends in Sun City, Sun Lake, takes me an hour to get there. So Phoenix is a metro of 3.8 million people.
Yeah.
And on an interstate, driving 65 miles an hour from Queen Creek to Sun City's damn near a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. So a lot of people, they always say, well, do you Do you hang
Just
out with
pop
Omar?
over, yeah.
Dude, Omar's an hour away.
Yeah. It was 50 or so minutes for me to get here today.
It was 50 minutes?
Yeah.
Thanks for doing the drive.
Yeah.
I want to go back to, I've learned more on my journey from basic science, anthropology, sociology, psychology, than I still don't know what I learned from calculus, physics, and geometry. I mean, I never use that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at treatment plan presentation, I just think earlier, you're saying mixed messages because you're saying that they need to be empathy and sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
And when they have empathy and sympathy, they have guilt. And they don't want to tell you have 14 cavities. So the young ones that are the most empathetic just pick the worst tooth, and they do tooth dentistry. Mm-hmm. And then later on, they get a little more sophisticated, and they go to quadrant.
Yeah.
So how does an empathetic guy like you do case dentistry? Because they're mortified. It'd be like, could you imagine I walk in and you love this person and you know they're having through hard times and their husband lost their job.
Yeah.
And you got to be the one to tell them that they can't have a regular cleaning. They have gum disease. They have 9 cavities and need 3 root canal. How do you be empathetic and present a $20,000 treatment plan?
It is if they don't, I will. One of my other mentors is.
I mean, do you agree with that assessment or not?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I put those exact words to it, but mostly for sure. I would say that if we don't have an idea of what optimal is, we can't even have a conversation about how to get there. The conversation will never happen. So Joan Undershoots and Mary Osborne, who are 2 of my I have so many mentors, will say, if you come in and you just say, just fix this one tooth, and I just fix that one tooth, then we have no idea what optimal looks like or how we can even start to move towards optimal. So the empath in me says, you know what, I understand there's a lot going on in there. And I understand that maybe we can't do it all right now because of where you are in your life. But if I don't look at everything that's going on and have a vision of what's optimal, then we'll never even have a conversation about what this looks like and how we can get there. Right?
Right.
So even if I say, yes, I am just going to fix that one tooth right now, I empathize with you, but maybe I can fix that tooth and I can put a little composite on a couple of your front teeth to help your guiding teeth protect your back teeth. That's it. Just help your guiders do their job to protect the squeezers in the back for a while. And that's going to help us
The
move
gliders
towards
in the front?
The guiders, yes.
The guiders in the
Guiders.
front to protect the
Squeezers
squeezers in the back?
yeah.
I like that. That is good. I've never heard that.
That's their
30
job.
years I've never
And
heard that.
See, and this is what happens, though. This is the conversation you have with patients. It's like, you know what? Your teeth have a job. It's cool and they look good, but teeth that look good usually function pretty well, and teeth that don't. You got your guiders in the front. Their job is to protect the teeth in the back that are the squeezers, right? And your guiders up in front, I'm not saying you're ugly, Howard, but I'm saying your front teeth look like they're pretty chipped, which makes me think that they're not doing the job that they could be doing to protect the back teeth in the back. So if we don't look at what it's going to take to get your guiders guiding and your squeezers squeezing, we don't even know what steps to take to get there. And that's when it goes back to, I'll fix that one tooth, but I'll bet you for pretty inexpensively I can put some composite on some front teeth and get those teeth guiding real nicely to protect your back teeth. And in the meantime, one of the reasons that your front teeth are probably getting beat up is because it's probably related to your apnea or some kind of sleeping disorder. So maybe you could see your physician, or we could look at what it's going to help to take you sleep better so that you don't beat up your front teeth, so that they can guide better. And so I guess my point is the empath in me is not afraid to talk about what optimal is. In fact, I would be remiss and sort of a hypocrite if I didn't.
You know, I still, I've been calling and predicting. You know, we talked earlier about those guys in Washington, D.C. that can predict 96% success rate on their marriage 5 years out by how their body language and the words they choose and everything. I've been predicting successful kids coming out of, these dental schools for years, especially the 2 in town. They've been there a decade, and I'll just sit there and go, you're going to crush it, and your buddy, I'm worried about. And it was always because they had the people skills. They could talk, they could communicate, they looked you in the eyes. It's all, so they'd be good. They'll end up being good leaders.
But the guy that's going to suffer, by the way, can learn those skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I call that. I had a column on it a couple months ago. I called it Doc Hollywood, because a lot of people always tell me, "Well, I'm not like that," and I say, "Well, look at the most Who's my two famous actors? That
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, but no, those two girls, Meryl Streep,
Okay, yeah.
and that Jane Bateman, or who's the one that played in The Color Purple? It was the one about the Clintons. The Clintons.
That was not Color Purple.
Yeah. What was that? What was that called?
Movie?
No
What's the
idea.
movie called? Let's figure that. Hillary the movie, Cash, the Clinton Chronicles.
Movie about Clinton's. Movie about Bill and Hillary Clinton.
The Clinton.
The Color of Money. The Color of Money. Or
Okay.
John Travolta was in it.
Okay.
Movie about Clintons with John Travolta.
What?
I'm typing Clinton primary colors.
Primary colors.
Oh, that's the color. Oh,
Primary
I
colors.
see where you're going.
Let's see. John Travolta, Emma Thompson, Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. Is it
Wow.
with a K or a C?
K.
I can't believe you got.
My
That was well done.
My two
Well
favorite
done.
actors, or actresses, are absolutely Kathy Bates and Meryl Streep.
Yeah, where are we going with this anyway? I can't remember now.
Because, Kathy Bates can play a nurse that's tied up her patient, beating and breaking his knees.
Okay.
And she can play the sweetest. The characters. Meryl Streep's one movie, she's a freaking batshit crazy alcoholic loony, and the next one, she's the Iron Lady, playing Margaret Thatcher. And I always say that, okay, Anthony Hopkins really doesn't enjoy putting people in a cave and torturing them and all that stuff like that. Yeah. You can go to work and you're now on stage, and you become an actor.
Yeah.
And Meryl Streep, I remember, there's only like 5 movie producers who have done like more than 50 movies, and one of them, Oliver Stone, is live now.
Yeah.
And they were asking him about, who does he like to work with the most? And he says, I like utility. He says, for instance, Meryl Streep, she doesn't have to look at the script. She doesn't even care about the script. She knows I'm doing the movie, and whatever I give her, she'll be that person. And she'll nail it.
It's trust.
And it could be a sociopath, a loving wife, a murderer. It just doesn't matter. And I remember Meryl Streep, she was interviewed one time, and she's with another person. I think it was Kathy Bates when they were in the same movie or something. I think it was those two. And one of them said, I can't do this one. I really, really want to do this one. And Meryl Streep said, I care less. So you can go to dental school. You can pull up your dental office, an introvert geek listening to Beethoven.
Yeah.
But when you walk through that door, you're the leader, you're Mrs. Personality, case presentation. And the way I look at case presentation, you have to tell them everything's wrong. I don't want to go to a doctor and the doctor's thinking, I can't tell how he's got prostate cancer and he needs a bypass.
Yeah, but it's not telling them everything that's wrong, because nobody wants to feel like they're broken. You don't want me to tell you that you're broken. Nobody wants to be broken. It's the things I'm worried or concerned about, and giving them hope that they can be optimal. It's really different that way. It's verbiage, but it's critical, I think.
And another mistake they do is they badmouth previous dentistry.
Yeah.
Which means, remember the last dentist who told you need this, you got it done? Well, I'm telling you, that was a bad decision. Yeah. It's all shitty. And then this one here, that's another bad decision. Oh, now I want you to buy a bunch of new dentistry from another dentist. So I'll go in there and say, that's cool, you got your 4 wisdom teeth out. How old were you when you got your 4 wisdom teeth out? And man, that crown back there, that's really nice.
Yeah,
who did that?
Good looking, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Who did that? That's good. You got to encourage them that all their past decisions of accepting treatment from dentists was good.
Yes.
And then they secrete dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and buy more. So when you go in there and badmouth other people's dentistry, now they're secreting adrenaline, norepinephrine, they're in fight or flight.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Yeah. But I want to, sorry, I'm in overtime with you. Can I keep you in overtime a little bit?
Sure.
Is there any, damn, we're way overdone. Yeah. Is there any technology that helps them with case? Some people swear by intraoral cameras or digital x-rays or any. Do you think any technology helps with explaining to the patient their needs?
Well, I go back to Bob Barkley again. I go back to code discovery, code diagnosis, and photos. Photos are a big deal. Just looking at what's there. And then
when you're talking about photos, intraoral or extraoral?
Well, intraoral, not an intraoral camera, but you can get everything you want with a DSL these days, right? You can get all that. Yeah, just a regular, like a Nikon or a Canon.
But when you say photos, are you talking about taking intraoral photos and putting them on the screen, or are you talking about taking extraoral photos?
Taking photos of their teeth and putting them on the screen, intraoral, but not with a wand per se, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay, but with an extraoral camera.
Yeah, right.
Taking intraoral photos with an extraoral camera.
Yes.
Okay, and what camera do you recommend?
Like the Nikon 7200 is one of my faves.
Okay. Digital.
But they're with just the ring flash, it's simple. They can set it up so easily, and it's easy to use. That's one of my faves. But that is it. And you're probably asking about DSD or those type of things. I think it's nice to have patients see what it might be able to look like, but it's more about helping them co-discover, co-diagnose.
I got one final question.
Bring it.
And I'm going to throw you under the bus on this one.
Okay, please.
But I call it Dentistry Uncensored because I don't want to talk about anything everyone agrees on. I like to talk about the debates, the confusion for the kids. Okay, the kids out there, when they start looking at Spear, Pankey, Dawson, Nash versus people like Dickerson, they see this divisive line that one of them, most of them are in this camp called CR and another one's called neuromuscular.
Yes.
And it confuses them.
Yes.
And do you agree with them that being a kid in dental school, it looks like there's like two different camps on occlusion?
Yes.
Neuromuscular CR?
Most dental schools don't teach neuromuscular, so
explain that.
They're not confused.
Explain that, because some of them are confused, and some of them are real confused because maybe their mom is a dentist and she's a huge
then they're
neuromuscular.
confused. Yeah, then they're confused.
And then they're in school, and then they're so what would you say to to a 25-year-old female dental student who's like, well, what's the difference between neuromuscular and CR? And I feel like I have to pick my camp because, like, LVI is neuromuscular.
Yeah.
Spear, Kwieciens, Dawson is not. So explain the difference, and they're at a fork in the road.
Yeah.
They can't afford to go to all the camps.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
Yeah, you didn't throw me under the bus, and I think it's totally, for me, if you look at Pankey Man Schuyler philosophy, if you look at Kwieciens, you look at Dawson, you look at Spear, there's a reason that there's more of those that are, if you want to call it centric relation or a fully seated condylar position, call it what you will. It just makes sense to me. And when you look at the way the body functions with the ball in the socket and the muscles pulling the ball into the socket so that it hinges open and closed, that's like if your shoulder was always at different parts out of the socket and your muscles were having to hold it there all the time, you're asking the body to do a lot that's probably not stable long term. You're just not. Now, that doesn't mean that, so for me, that makes most sense. It's common sense. It just makes sense to me. Now, that doesn't mean that neuromuscular doesn't work, because what if you have jacked up joints? What if the ball can't go up into the socket because you've had some destruction or breakdown? Then at least you understand neuromuscular dentistry and you understand how it's done, and there's benefits to everything. So for me, I think that the greater the breadth and depth of knowledge that we have, the more we can help our patients move towards health. You can't pick one and say the other one sucks. You have to look at them all and go, ooh, that sort of makes sense. I get that. Oh, that makes sense. I get that. And I could see when I could use that for you. If you got jacked up joints, I'm going to think about what I learned in neuromuscular and go, oh, that's going to help me figure out how to restore you with your jacked up joints. If you've got muscle pain and tenderness and solid joints, well, for me, a fully seated condylar position, for me personally, it just makes sense. It's a repeatable position, and why wouldn't I restore you there?
So your website, www.k2facilitation.com, is that on Twitter? Or do you have a Twitter?
I am not a tweeting guy. No. It's you'll find it on Facebook, and you can find it on LinkedIn. But I'm not a. I don't tweet like a bird yet. I don't follow anybody.
Can I throw you under a bus on that logic?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go hard on you right now. So
you're not throwing me under the bus. You're
basically
schooling me.
I'm gonna school you on that. So basically, if you make a post on LinkedIn, if I make a post on LinkedIn, it'll go to all 36,000 of my followers. I do it on Twitter, all 25,000. I do it on Instagram, all 14,000. Their direct feeds are not pay to play.
Yeah.
Now, Instagram is owned by Facebook, and as soon as Snapchat dies, that's going to turn into Facebook. And what is Facebook? I have 300,000 fans on Facebook. And if I upload 290,448, when I put this podcast on there, it will only go to 1,000. If I want it to go to 190,000, I have to boost it for about $300.
Yeah, right.
So Facebook is all pay to play.
Yes, it is.
Now, our president of the United States, love him or hate him, I don't talk about religion, sex, politics, or violence, but the only reason he's the president of the United States is because at 7 o'clock at night, only 1 million people are watching CNN.
He's tweeting.
Only 3 million are watching Fox. And what did he do? He disintermediated the middleman, the fake news, and went direct. How many millions of followers does he have? I don't even know, but I'll check right now. Twitter, I think he's called, Real Donald Trump. He has 47 million followers. So
that's a couple.
So Fox News and CNN is 4 million. So, and then POTUS has 22 million followers. So the bottom line is he basically disintermediated the press with social media. So you need to build up LinkedIn, and LinkedIn was just bought by Microsoft. And and Twitter just turned a profit for the first time. So I think they're in M&A activity right now. I think someone's going to pick them up, and you're going to lose Instagram. So if you get in bed with Zuckerberg, it's all pay to play. And I don't care if it's social media or women. You don't want a lover who's pay to play. That's a whole nother podcast. But the bottom line is, I would really get in
For
LinkedIn,
sure.
Twitter, and Instagram.
Yes.
Because it's really nice.
Well, maybe by the time you show this, it will be.
And when it does, send me, text me, and I'll push it out to my followers.
Thanks.
And thanks for following me on Twitter. I like that. I don't like Facebook because it's pay to play.
Pay to play,
And but hey, I want to thank you for all that you've done for dentistry. I want to thank you for coming on the show. I'm so excited about your K-squared facilitation.com. And you live in Scottsdale, dude. You should come down to Dental Town and talk to the editor, Tom Jacoby. He's been our editor from 2000 to 2018. So I really have nothing to do with that. You know, what I do, I find the best people and get out of their way. I don't micromanage Tom. He's never asked me in 18 years. A lot of people say, I'd like to get published in Dental Town. Dude, I have less to say than you do. You probably have a better chance of getting Tom to publish. In fact, if I told Tom to publish you, that would
take me to go the wrong way.
And I'd sure love to get an online CE course out of you. We've put up 411 courses. They're coming up on 1 million views. And what Pinky figured out is that, they have like 6 one-week sessions. So they put a 1-hour highlights film of week 1, and it was the best marketing they ever did. And so a lot of so that might be something you can do. But love to network with you more.
Me too.
And thank you so much for driving an hour to come on the show to talk to my homies.
That's easy.
I hope you have a rocking hot day.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All right.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.